So the first is the local.
Move we amend the agenda to include the items that Lance added yesterday.
I'll second that.
And that's the LTAC agreement.
No.
Oh.
What I added to the agenda is the conditional acceptance for Freedom Acres subdivision.
I agree.
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing on the agenda is the local professional services agreement. This is for the engineer of record that LTAC wants Keller to do on the 97 South Bridge reconstruction. Hopefully that should be starting really soon. They haven't got it going yet. The other 4 bridge bundle actually went through the rebid process, and it seems to have made it. So they're working forward with that. Hopefully we'll get 121st South Bridge going too. There will be an engineer of record with that as well. And then that engineer of record will likely use Keller again.
Okay.
So the second thing is the conditional acceptance for Freedom Acres. Freedom Acres subdivision is north of Beach's Corner. And there are some things that they have not got done, and they wanted to split the Division 2 into different phases, and some of the phases have more left undone than not. They have provided bonding checks for me. One check is for $750,000. Another check is for $112,000. And so there's quite a few things that they have not done in phase 2 that they're bonding for, but because they platted it as one in order to get building permits on the first portion that has been done, they've decided to bond for it. The conditional acceptance also lists specifically the lots that can be applied for. And that's how we kind of structured it, so that any lot that's not on that letter can't apply for a building permit.
Is this the multi-housing
Yeah,
part that the neighbors
fourplex.
were under consideration right now?
No, this
No,
is the
this-
one
that
that's
is the
north of Beach's Corner.
So the other side past the
Across the
KSD.
street, you've got the corner
Across the
trailer dump,
highway.
and then you have
Right.
back further.
So it's across the highway.
Yeah, this isn't the,
So it's
north
east of Highway
26.
43 and north of Highway 26.
The one we approved a year
Yeah.
ago.
It's been a while, yeah.
And what's been the holdup for them getting that stuff?
Contractor.
Lack of, or slow moving, or both.
Yes. All
all
of
of
the
the
above.
above.
I guess you gotta cut them some slack, but now on those checks, do we deposit them?
We will deposit them,
Okay.
yes. And so that's why I brought them down, and I want to make sure that what this covers, and then I'll take the checks up to Ron.
Before you make sure they're cleared before you give them the,
Well, I hope they would clear, but
I know. It's just easier to not give it to them till the money clears than it is to go back and fight it later.
I'll ask.
Of course, I guess that mean guy in planning and zoning can just not give permits.
That's right. Hold all the permits until the check clears. That's an easy solution.
So did it, you
Is that-
sign that one initially?
Is that all the action
That was
items?
just let it trickle down.
That's all
from the
the action.
top.
Oh, okay.
You what?
I was letting it trickle back down from the top.
I'd make a motion that we approve those 2 action items that are on the agenda.
Second,
I
Discussion items. I met with Doyle Beck on Gem Lake Harbor again yesterday, and he doesn't like necessarily our development agreement the way it's written. He
sorry.
wants to look at a different option for bonding that's not in there. And he also wants to bond for basically everything and get building permits without anything done out there. I took a drive out there yesterday. They do have some of the water stuff in, but the roads are just barely cut in. There's no pit run, there's no 3/4, there's no anything else. And I told Doyle very directly, it's like, if you get 3/4 and pit run all up and done, we can talk about maybe bonding for the asphalt because of the time of year. But bonding for
Gravel?
everything
When he owns
is
gravel
just,
pits.
I was out there on Tuesday. He needs to do some work out
yeah, but yesterday he was asking about this bonding. He literally,
Just tell him to appreciate the accommodation he's getting rather than waiting till it's completely done.
so if he comes to you, and I kind of expect him
And if
to,
he does, I'll tell him he needs to appreciate the accommodation he's getting. Because it's not, because that is an accommodation. We've moved to, it is an accommodation because we've moved to a harder line because of all these subdivisions in the past that never got done.
Yeah.
Okay.
the
See
other
what's your
thing
thought
is,
on that?
I have not heard back from Weston yet on
On
Archie
their-
Willie.
their development agreement.
Yeah, I don't know if you were able to talk with Weston at all yesterday about that, or,
Western Mountain.
Yeah, we just need him to review that. They proposed some changes in the wording, which I didn't think were overly
So it's back in
major.
our court.
well, it's, Weston had it, and until he says, I'm comfortable with these changes, I'm not comfortable making it. go
He's
forward.
had it a couple of weeks now.
That's not good. I
About
thought
a
we were-
week.
I thought it was
Week and
in
a
their
half,
court.
about a week.
Other than that, they just have to get all their signatures, but I
All
think
their
he's waiting for
signatures.
that to be okay, so then he can drive up and come get all the signatures in a couple days.
And the plat is still has not been delivered to Shane to sign. He doesn't have a copy.
A
to
Mylar
sign,
copy,
Mylar
yeah,
copy.
so when I talked to Leon last week, he said he was gonna, once everything was done on the development agreement, he's gonna bring a Mylar
Oh,
copy
awesome.
up here and go around to everyone, get it signed.
We were gonna talk to
So,
you yesterday,
did,
legal counsel, but you weren't here and we
Out in
forgot
that
it.
neighborhood, did
Have you had a
Miller's
chance
pull
to
their
look at that
theater?
RC Willie development agreement?
Don't know. I've never heard
Okay.
Heard anything
about
last time?
that.
What was that?
Okay.
Did Miller's pull their multiplex theater out of the city
Yeah.
development? They did.
Just because of what happened with COVID, when all the theaters had to close, there was that one and the showbiz one that was supposed to go in there. And because none of the
Okay,
theaters
I'll
were
tell you what's
open and
coming.
they didn't know what the future
We're trying
looked
to
like,
get
they
the RC
stopped
Willie
both of
right around
those
for snowflies.
developments. So I don't, as far as I had heard,
Okay.
they both had withdrawn and hadn't
right,
resubmitted
thanks.
anything.
Hmm.
So,
Okay,
Vicious rumor
Thanks.
against the
Bye.
city or if it was true.
no,
he just barely finished and it's on its way to you.
Okay,
So he said he's good with it.
so we can let them know that and they
Yeah,
should just get all their signatures, but.
Yeah.
I had a meeting with Cromwell's yesterday and it'll be interesting to see how they pencil all that out.
As far as,
To get in the road where they want it to go. Cromwell's are just, she was adamant. I said, I can't tell you what to do. She basically came to me and said, what should I do here? I said, I can't tell you what to do. That's a civil
what should
matter.
she
I can't.
do, as in, what are the options?
Yeah, for either her giving them the ground, her selling them the ground for the road. I said, I can't tell you what to do. That's all civil stuff. You've got to decide. It's your property. But she just kept saying, she's like, we don't think this road has any benefit to us. And I was like, well, all I can give you is the facts and the road does have benefit to you.
The benefit it has is gives them access to their property because they're not gonna get another access on
They
Sunnyside.
won't get another access from ITD. And I told her that yesterday. I said, there's no way you're getting another access into that property.
And ask Stafford how it works to try to play hardball with them.
Yeah, so
so did ITD write you a letter
for,
for that development out there? They had talked to me about if this development happened with RC Willie and anything further south, they thought that the developer should be on the hook for putting the signal at where Gateway will connect to Sunnyside.
I talked to Blake Jolly. And according to Blake, because they're doing all the work for that, they looked into that on the signal and have had conversations with ITD. And that's in the original agreement with ITD for Stafford and Matt Morgan because of
Yeah.
Smiths and Jackson Hole Junction. So as far as Blake's concerned, he said, I think Stafford had asked RC Willie and Melaleuca both if since they're benefiting, they'd be willing to go in on the signal, but it's Stafford's responsibility.
Well, and it is, it's just ITD was saying
Yeah.
that needs to be there before these
And there
developments
is,
start.
I think there is something in writing. I'll ask Blake next time I talk to him, but he said that when they had talked to ITD, that's what they got is that Stafford and Matt Morgan have to put that signal in. I think they wanted to, that does have to be done before this road is all the way built because Blake was telling me they wanted to get it ordered, but just to get the posts for it, they were 9 months out.
That doesn't surprise me.
So they were gonna get it ordered last time I had talked to Blake.
I'm actually surprised it's only 9 months out for those mast arms.
Yeah.
Are they getting pushback from or Matt
I don't think so.
on the other side?
No, I don't. I
'Cause
think he was
they
willing.
pretty much
so-
let them start, you know, and they've got a lot of businesses in there. And I hope we can get the same accommodation while they work
Yeah.
through it. Time to build it,
Yeah,
because the amount of traffic they've got coming out of Matt Morgan's is a lot bigger than you're gonna have in the next year with RC Willie's, because it's not gonna happen for a year.
Yeah,
Other
I mean, even if they're able to start, if they come get their permit this next week and they're able to start doing groundwork and footings and stuff, which with how the weather is, they'll probably be able to. But they still won't open until the late next year, 2023, I would imagine.
What's that map out there? 17.
Which place?
The one we talked about, that's Bill Rigby,
The little triangle,
the triangle piece, plus some others that
the city's utility box and the canal company's easement.
since.
Between the power easement and the canal easement, there's no property there.
Since Weston has such a warm relationship, and ask you to reach out to Brad. See if they can correct some of those.
It's a no-brainer because I know their long-term plan is they want a bike path down this canal that they're gonna be talking about.
Is this the
And they're
one where
gonna-
they did the Rocky Mountain power lines?
No, it's just a piece of useless property. But it would be a really good place. They already have a utility box and the only usable space on this little piece of property. And it just would be a good place for the city to have a little more grass and turn around for their bike path that's gonna go down that canal bank and actually give them ownership of some of the ground the canal easements on. So there's really some argument for Parks and Rec wanting to have this.
This got brought, Mark.
This is west of the airport.
Brought it up because the taxpayer, you know, it's Bill Rigby's trust,
Right,
and they're looking at that, and when they platted that, you know, they left that triangle piece, which you can see,
mhm,
the green is the canal. The triangle piece is still in his name, and,
Can you make
you know,
that a
they're
little
paying
bigger?
taxes on it, even though it's small amount.
Thank
They said, "Hey, we're still
Bill
paying."
Rigby is.
Yeah, there's trust. They said, we're just tired of paying the taxes. And Mark said, well, you offer to donate it to the city. And I said, well, we have, but they don't want it. I think
Could mean they didn't
we
respond.
checked about the possibility of them just quit claiming the city, but that creates a questionable legal, you know,
Unless they accept
quick
it.
claims something to somebody. But zoom in on that, and when we started looking at the parcels, see, the city of Idaho Falls owns the property that the road is on.
This part, this right here, Old View.
What's that strip that's just to the left there?
That's still
That's
county
Palmer's
property.
I believe spike strip is the term you lovingly use. They left a spike strip there.
I have no idea, you know,
It
again,
was
they
probably
have the,
deeded to the county as right away at one point in time, wasn't it?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm assuming.
but see,
Yeah.
they had to annex that road because that's the way they made that subdivision. This is years
Did that used to be a county subdivision?
No.
There's an
No, that's how long it's
North.
been city.
It's the soccer fields out there.
That's
So
right.
It's been a while. But what we're wondering, because I talked to Mark, and if you could approach Brad, just say, look, these taxpayers raised a question here. Is there any way you would be willing to talk to them and let them donate it? Because your utility box is there. And if what John is saying, they want that for canal banner, but they've already got the easements, they'll probably argue.
Right.
But the other option, Mark, you can't tell them not to pay the taxes, but they're pretty much saying, but if we don't pay the taxes, well, in 3 years, it goes to a tax deed auction. And we have had a situation where somebody bought 3-foot strip that we had to auction off of a commercial parking lot and used it as a spite strip. That could happen out here. So if they want to avoid a problem, somebody could come by that and then they'd have to fight with them on for the utility box.
Fix the intersection and the road and the.
Yeah, I'll
Plus, why
reach out
wouldn't,
to them.
and we'd be willing to just
see.
deed in that strip of property out there.
Yeah, because that should all be theirs. We don't want a spite strip in the middle of there.
Go down.
It's
and
gonna be a 4-lane
zoom
road.
out. And see, here's the other thing down towards the west.
Oh, you're going west.
Yeah. See, some of this, this has to do with that access. And I don't know how we're gonna deal with it.
I like those two pieces right there.
Yeah, isn't that a mess?
Well, so I got a call on that piece that your mouse is on the other day from I can't remember what the name of the company is, but basically they build homes for veterans who have been disabled in the war. And they were gonna buy this piece of property and build a house on there. And I said, well, that's great, but the problem I have is there's city water and city sewer there. So either you have to get a letter from the city saying they won't service those lots, and then we can give you a well and septic, because there's a building right on each one of those lots in the county. Well, the city won't give them a letter that says that they won't service them with water and sewer, but they also won't annex them.
Why?
Yeah, why won't they annex those two lots?
It's been that way for the longest time, and so I'll ask Brad about those too. Because
Yeah.
I got a call about those the other day.
It'd be really bad public relations for that to come out, that the city's blocking this group from building homes for some of our disabled veterans.
Well, and we've got a problem here because, well, that's City Idaho Falls. So are they gonna have to use our new access agreement to get an access here since they haven't annexed?
The city,
Yeah,
well, the city already has the access there into their subdivision. That's already there. It's already in place.
Are they using it now for the traffic?
yes,
Okay,
yes.
so that's too late, but to look up,
Across the
see the
road.
piece across the road is where they're gonna put that high density housing.
Mhm.
And I don't know where, are they gonna have one access down here and then an offset access coming in from the north?
I've heard concepts of both. So I don't
I
know what's really gonna happen.
Much.
Because you got that.
They've
farmhouse.
annexed all of that and they've left a little donut hole of county stuff in the middle.
They do that all the time.
Yeah, but they're not supposed to be doing that anymore. They're supposed to be infilling.
But where they did annex the full road there, what do we do on our permit access if they come in and want a new access? Can we hold them
If
to
they,
that
if
standard?
if they've annexed the whole road, it won't come to us at all for an access. If they haven't accessed the road, they will have to.
So they could ignore all the spacing standards that they want. and-
Through that section that they've annexed, yes.
Okay, but that's just the section adjacent to the cul-de-sac and the,
So it would be from here to here.
right, so
Is-
they're gonna dump all that traffic out and affect our road on either side of that.
It
No,
could,
not-
yeah.
See, they've already cul-de-saced it on this side, so it'd have to be a T intersection from the other side. Or
Well,
they have to line it up.
That's what I'm saying is, if there's a T intersection off here, they've annexed all that, and so it wouldn't come to me.
How many homes are they thinking about putting in there?
I don't know.
I can't remember the numbers. I know it's high density, but
I thought you talked about several hundred.
I couldn't remember the number.
I
Seems
think
like I
it's
heard a
in
number.
that area, in that.
So if you scroll out just a touch, what I'd heard talked about was basically bounded by the canal. Right?
Right.
Yeah, they can't go farther than that.
But it was
So
that
they-
whole piece.
But they can't come in Wild Rose and they can't come into Bramble.
Why can't they go farther?
There's a real landowner right here.
Oh,
Cranky.
That's,
Cranky.
and I wasn't doing that to poke you. I couldn't remember because I thought yours was farther west.
They'll have to pry
That
it from my
canal,
cold
it's
dead
the
fingers.
moat.
But they're
He's got a moat.
probably gonna plan future access.
So where's their other access?
Probably.
Because they have to have
So-
two accesses.
At one point in time, they were talking about coming out here and something out here, but I haven't heard anything about this for
Annex
quite a
that.
while.
Who owns the property with the house on it? Johnson.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a young couple that just bought that about 4 years ago.
So they're not gonna,
Is that Greg
Probably
Johnson, Neil Johnson's Greg, or is that a different Greg?
who owns the property that they're gonna develop?
This one, oh, it's Idaho Land Holding. It's the same guy that developed those houses down there off Skyline. Same guy.
Okay.
Juan Murdoch.
Oh, yeah, that's what is that stuff on
My good
Skyline
friend,
between
Juan.
the AJs and,
What was it, the-
I haven't
Just-
heard
just-
about that one.
well, it's all built.
What's
They're
that?
like
what was
little
it?
tiny
Troubling.
row, tiny home row houses.
One.
There's so many. I mean, you look at Marchesa
Something he was
and
asking for,
Francesca and stuff, these are huge
What
homes.
was that?
I was
don't
telling
remember
you
it.
Well, I
a
just don't know
couple
how
weeks ago about his
Traffic
basement,
from the 100.
Oh, that's what it was.
200 homes
which
How-
we let him keep the stairs in, but we
County
marked
road
that
that
permit
has
like
2-lane,
no other, that if it's rented.
there's a lot
we
of
told him
2-lane
we were
road
gonna
between
come out
there
and
and
check
120.
once it was done.
You haven't heard from him since then.
No. We'll see what happens.
Because realistically, if he wants for an access out.
I wonder if that would
based on
help.
responsibility.
I don't have a problem with
Yeah,
that.
sure.
Greg used to know.
I don't know.
I know his initial intent was to rent it, so.
Construction cabinets, Neil did all
Doesn't
the
do that.
Ross,
Well, the question
Wanda,
I've got is,
Brookfield,
you know, whether this is gonna be one of
big
those.
3 garage,
Tied with the private roads, the high
cheap
density.
homes.
And what are they gonna do for secondary fire access?
Yeah, it's an odd shaped piece. I don't know.
And generally what they'll do, what they're supposed to do on these developments is provide a future act.
Tie into honeysuckle, but they'd have to bring it straight down the back all those.
See, when they
lines.
developed
They provided a future
here,
access.
they provided an access right
Who
there.
owns that piece behind?
That one?
No. Who owns the ground behind the Idaho land, that whole farm?
This one?
Yeah, is
Pop it
that?
up there.
It's me.
That's him.
There's not gonna be a secondary
that's what I
access
say, he's
through
got
there.
some- he's
I
got
thought that was.
He's
your-
got that.
Well, but that's why I was looking at the other subdivision, if they could make a secondary access, but they can't.
I can't get to it.
They can't get to it.
Unless they bring it down the back of Wild Rose.
If they pipe the canal all the way out, down, I guess they could go that way, that would be a huge expenditure.
They didn't leave any other ways in.
Makes me so angry. I tried multiple times to buy that property from that guy because I was gonna redo that canal right through there. So I
Who
could
was
run
it?
my pivot clear.
Who
around,
owned it?
you know. Rod Jeffrey. Well, actually, his aunt Madge Jeffrey owned it. And, yeah, I just never could get it done. Of course, I wasn't gonna pay the
No.
dollar price for it,
No.
so.
Where's your house showing there?
This is my dad's house right here. Mine's right here. Oh, no, that's not me. Where am I? Oh, I'm here.
Well, you get the map up, if you go to the 45th East and Iona Road,
Is this the Amy Taylor?
no, It's something else that
We
I.
need to ask.
We
about
need
that
to talk
too.
about that, yeah.
Okay.
Do I need to go further? Is it further than that?
45th, yeah, it's the next mile. So 45th east and Iowa Road.
Right there?
Yeah, I think so. Click on this parcel right here.
Oh, where the road
So this is
indicators
Tony
come.
Howe Holdings. If you'll scroll down, that's listed as waste ground.
Yeah, it is.
They're paying zero taxes on.
Oh, no.
What is the deal with that?
How'd you find that?
Well, I was looking for the.
How did that happen?
45th East and what was going on here, and I clicked on this, like, this isn't waste ground. They're paying zero taxes on a 5-acre parcel next to 2 arterial roads.
That's assessor, I assume, makes that determination.
Yeah, it's zoned ag, it's residential. I think it has one building right on it. So the taxes probably wouldn't be waste. I've
Well,
looked at
it's
that
ag,
piece,
they're
I've
growing-
looked at that piece
They're
for
growing stuff
somebody
on it,
wanted
right?
to try to
They've
zone it
grown stuff on it, yeah.
commercial, but you've got the other 3 corners that are already slated as residential, so we can't do rural center or anything like that.
So is that Trish or is that,
Jill,
that's Jill?
well, ultimately Blake, but
I
Yeah,
was just wondering, I could put Jill on quick. I don't know if Blake, we'll ask Blake about it. We'll get that resolved.
Because I saw that, it's like, there's no way, this is just, it should not be.
sometimes
considered
on
waste
these
ground.
too, I would check. Do you have a login to Aumentum? I'll log in when I get back and look at it, because with how these pull into GIS, sometimes they'll have like 4.87 acres that's actually being taxed, but then they tax the right of way or something on the property as waste because they can't do anything with it. Does that make sense? Like it's not usable to them. And sometimes with how the GIS pulls it over,
It says it's
it
waste
pulls
when
the
it's actually
waste
being
because
taxed.
that's on top, but then below it, there's actually a tax dollar and tax value. So I'll double check
Well, I
that
would
before
hope
you
that there
say
was
anything.
Okay, you let me know.
Yeah,
that's amusing.
Sal's property.
It's just a 5-acre parcel that's listed as waste ground, at least on here, they're paying zero taxes on it.
Yeah, we need to,
but I'm gonna check
sure
that
worry
because
how
I
many
was
more
telling
there
them
are.
that sometimes if pieces have road right of way or something that's been taken out on it, or even a canal, they'll have a portion of it that's taxed as waste because they can't use it. And when the GIS pulls it over, it just grabs the top value, and then sometimes down below, there's actually tax on the ground that doesn't get pulled in. This happened to me the other day on a different piece, and I'm like, what the heck? And then I went and looked at it, and it wasn't the case.
okay, well, let me know.
Is
Yeah,
that for right of way acquisition?
Well, that's part of what we were looking at as far as what needed to happen. So I was just looking at all sorts of different
Well, if
parcels.
it's waste ground, it should be cheap right away.
that's right.
Not-
We don't want to change that
not
yet.
from Jace. He's a great guy.
So where's Amy's property?
It's down, wasn't.
Is it
Did you
on-
say it's
Two
down by-
properties south of Thunder, I believe.
Thunder, that's pretty far south.
It was. just-
Amy Taylor, is this her house?
Yeah.
She and her husband's property.
Yeah, they're down more from Thunder, so go to the north of Thunder. It's that
Thunder High School?
here,
Thunder
it's
Ridge.
this
Thunder.
piece
Yeah,
right
Thunder Ridge
here.
High School.
Okay. Because there is
I
a Thunder
believe-
Drive too.
See the 2 pieces that are still in county up here? I
Right,
think it is that
it's
one.
the, nope,
That's-
it's
No,
two
that's the
down,
hills.
it's two down,
It's
it's
the
the
same
L-shaped
That
one.
That one, yeah.
Oh, yeah, nice. Oh, that's,
That's
no, that's Diana.
that's-
This is
Okay,
wrong.
next one down.
This is wrong.
Yeah, that's their house.
That's their house. That's the Taylor property. The Pappas is the other one.
Zoom
and
in
this-
some more on that.
This is reversed. The partial viewer is reversed from actual.
You better, could you let Trish know that,
Can you zoom in more on it?
Austin? or
Yeah.
somebody?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Anyway,
don't know.
she kind of came and unloaded on Brian and John after the meeting. Luckily, I was gone about So we're coming, taking 45, 75 feet of her property.
I'm not taking 75.
I didn't think so.
She said it wasn't as
75
bad
from
for
the
her
center
as the
line.
lady that lives
She was
next to
worried about
her,
her neighbor
so,
right here,
yeah.
that we'd come right next to their house.
So that is what we talked about, the design, we're shifting just a little bit.
Right.
We're also
That's what
backing it down.
Brian thought he remembered you saying we were
Yep.
shifting,
Yeah, we are not taking 75.
putting a little dog leg there,
Yeah, that's
Chihuahua
backwards on
dog
the
leg.
map.
It is backwards on the parcel
I
viewer.
don't know how they,
It happens
manage that.
more often than I want to admit. And I've been told very directly that I'm not supposed to use parcel viewer like that
By who? Jill,
by
Trish.
Trish and
I
Dawn.
thought the whole point of
and
maps
Jill,
was getting them
yeah.
accurate, and every time it's noticed, they ought to be fixed.
Yeah, because the idea was as we find the errors, we let them know when they.
I
fix
mean,
it.
this one I
They-
can kind of see because they bought all the property and then they did a lot line adjustment and sold the front off and made their building lot. So there was a bunch of different transactions that happened, but we can get it fixed. That's pretty
Yeah,
easy.
she was,
While you're doing that, there's that known number 172 that's also a question.
yeah,
Probably a
There's,
gap.
there's a lot, well, it's not, I don't know, and
Spike
Jill
Street.
will
Hi,
not
Trish.
look at fixing it.
Good. Do you have time to jump on our road bridge meeting? On Zoom, so it's just the commissioner's number, 208-529-1360.
So how much of her property is?
Thank you.
Are they gonna take? It's not 75 feet.
So if you go from center line of the road, I think we were ending up with 40 feet, but 25 of that is prescriptive right away. So it's 15 feet.
15 instead of 75, and there's your answer to talk to Amy on. You know,
but nobody knows where their prescriptive right of way ends on their, when they're mowing lawn out there.
Nobody
so-
knows what a prescriptive right away is.
So when they, so it's, so how far from
So
the
it
center
would
line of
be,
the
from the
road?
center line of the road, we were going 40 feet, so we'd have an 80-foot total width, I
Right.
think.
And that's. Is that building prescriptive right away that far out, or is that? the
No,
actual
it would actually,
construction road?
we would take a prescriptive right of way as prescriptive, and then from there back to the 40-foot, the 15-foot would be right of way acquisition, so we'd have to purchase it at market value.
75 feet. I don't know where they came up with that. It just probably took the whole width and said, oh, you're taking all of it.
And they may have, yeah.
Are they being dealt with by the engineer?
JUB will have contacted them, and it has contacted them. They haven't got a right-of-way agent out there yet, or an appraiser out there yet.
So we better make sure Amy knows we can't be involved in the negotiations. You can answer her question.
Because I can't answer a question, say it's not 75.
It's not 75, it should, what we're looking at is probably 15. And I can verify that with the drawing, but
Or maybe it'd be better to let Lance call her. Just to keep us out if we have to go down.
Probably a good idea if you don't mind.
either that or I can have JUB call her, because I'm sure
Yeah.
JUB is the one that's contacted her before.
Yeah, tell her the commissioners that, spoken with her and wanted to get her an answer back. Can you hear us okay, Trish?
Yes, I can. I'm trying to get my volume turned up a little more. There we go.
Okay, so a couple of items. This is out on 45th East.
You'll have to share your screen.
I've shared it.
Oh, you did?
You're seeing this map, right?
Yep, I am.
So these two properties are reversed. This is
Ownership.
ownership. This is showing Diana Pappas.
I don't see your mouse, which if you could click on it, that might help me, because I don't see where your mouse is on the screen.
You're not seeing the ownership there.
Nope, I'm just seeing the parcel viewer.
It doesn't show what I'm
It
popping up.
should, I've had it do it before.
I wonder if you just selected the one screen and, or the browser, but not the screen.
I'm gonna
I
let
was gonna
somebody
say,
else
usually
take
it
over.
has the bar at the top, but
trouble letting a boomer run. I talked to my neighbors who got the fiber, from high fiber. So,
All right, do you see that now,
If we
Trish?
can.
So these two parcels, this one shows is Taylor, Jeremy, and Amy. And this one shows is Diana Papa's. They're reversed. So the one I'm on now is actually the Taylor's parcel. And this one up here is the Papa's parcel. So that, we need to get that corrected.
Okay, I'll do it right now.
And then Lance was wondering what this strip to the north is.
So we already talked a little bit about this one before, Trish, and I contacted Jill. Jill looked at it and said, I'm not doing anything with it.
Boy,
I will
Got
dig
it.
through and
Yeah.
find that one too and what it is.
Let us know on that if we have to speak to Jill's supervisor, because we're trying to acquire right of way out there for that road project.
Perfect.
Trish, how does ownership on those lots get reversed like that? What happens?
Sometimes with the packet that we receive, we go by acreage they list, and sometimes the numbers can be flopped. This is part of where Stephanie and Denise are sending us back the packets they get back to data, because sometimes when we get the original packet, the numbers have been reversed or things like that happen. And then when they submit the packet to data, they put it in the correct order, but we didn't receive the correction. So we'll go through and I'll get that fixed right now.
Okay.
And sorry, I did not check that one to see if it had been fixed, or if we had received a corrected packet, excuse me.
is there anything we can do to reduce the number of occurrences, or is this an extremely rare thing?
I would like to say it's a rare thing. We're doing a workaround to try and fix that. And so that's where Janice and I share data. We share information that we get from Jill from the Platts department to try and reduce some of this. The hard part that we have, and I've talked with Blake about this on different ways that we could receive packets or have this open communication for getting answers back. One of the things that was requested is to just put our questions in a lump email every 2 weeks, so that they can answer them once every 2 weeks for our questions like this when we come across property errors. So a lot of this is more of just us having to go through and dig through the research and draw the deeds. And sometimes this may not be caught by the assessor's office. And so we have to send that back to them to let them know that the numbers they have are backwards. We just had a case of this 3 weeks ago with Rochelle, that they had the names wrong on the parcels by the deeds. And so we had to draw them out because they were going to tax deed. So it shouldn't be as common as it seems like it has been. But we're trying to work through it with the different departments to try and catch these so that they don't come out on the map to the public or go out through Aumentum.
Okay, thank you for getting on fixing that.
Absolutely. I'll go through, fix those. If I can't seem to find anything on that ownership, I'll let you know if we need to get Blake involved.
Know offhand how many parcels we have in the county? How many individual parcels, just what the total number is?
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear what you said.
Do you or Austin know what the total number of parcels in the county is?
Yes, I do. Actually, I can tell you what we have. And it should be, it's 57,700, I think, and 83. But let me pull what we have listed currently for active parcels.
No numbers. So when Jill or when Trish and I talked before, there's a number of these no number parcels that there's over 300 of them, right?
So there's actually almost 800 of them.
Oh, my goodness.
So we have over just under 58,000 parcels in the county, and we have at least 800, I think 823 are unknown. And some of them could be common property. Some of them are properties in dispute. A lot of these are gaps that were not explained with the old mapping system that we have to go through and renegotiate. This one is a fairly large one, as well as the one that we took to legal counsel 6 months ago. Most of them are gaps and slivers.
They're not on the tax roll then.
No.
Yeah, they're not on the tax roll. And one of them, the way that it happened was it went back to the actual homesteading rights back when we were Bingham County. And then as that person had sold off pieces of their property and gave it to children, they did not correct and have it resurveyed as time moved on. And so there was a gap that was not notified to them because they were drawing it with pencil in the red books at the time. But when we drew it out to the map, we found gaps and overlaps that were missed. And so a lot of those gaps like that we're finding as we're drawing them in with controls, we're putting no numbers to be researched.
So there's another one on just going before this Jensen rezone on December 8th. There's another no number right in front of that off Riverfront Drive
I saw
that I
that.
just talked with or emailed Austin this morning about.
I'll email you about that one, Trish, too, to see if you know
Perfect.
anything.
And we'll dig through information and old microstation notes and things like that and dig through deeds and see what we can find for that kind of research.
Okay,
What would be the estimated size of those parcels? Are they less than 1/10 of an acre? Just most of our.
Most of them are less than that. This one is a fairly large one. Some of them on the road right of ways. It seems to be a lot in the road right of way areas that they come in through, but most of them are under an acre. Most of them are actually about 1/10 to 2/10 of an acre.
Okay, well, if they're 1/10 of an acre and they're worth $20,000 an acre, that's $2,400,000 worth of property tax value.
And I will tell you, if we want to talk about that in a sad term, the other question is like that scenario we found out in Swan Valley. Those are a big issue, but how about some of the deeds that might be missing that we're finding, like that 1 acre piece that had been missing for 10 years off the tax roll?
Yeah, see something like that, if it's buildable.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these are just odd lots that are not buildable property.
probably would tax them as waste mostly anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it was part of their lot property, you know, they would probably, one of Taylor's, they probably have an ag value on the back part of that.
I think so, the home's like an acre and then the rest of it's ag.
Yeah, so, you know, they're getting the ag exemption, so you're.
Yeah,
What
so
are they
but
growing back
this
there?
little strip is probably more valuable.
Why have they got ag exemption on that?
Well, they do, it depends on, it's interesting how they do it. I don't know exactly how it works honestly, but depending on how much the acreage the home takes up, and then if there's leftover acres and it's in an ag zone.
5 acres or more.
Then
I thought it had to be cultivated
They have to show 5 acres or more,
over some income, right?
$1,000 a year income.
see, and theirs says only 0.942 acres, so that's probably not being taxed as ag.
0.92.
Is that really that small, Trish?
It's because I think it's swapped to the PIN number. That should be on the other one. Because that should be that small. And if you look at that one, yep, 2.7. It's because the numbers are swapped.
Everything's backwards, okay. that
But
makes
that's
sense.
still.
You know, sadly, some of those. But we have went through and cleared out 10 so far of these no numbers because they were just drawing errors. But a lot of them, I think, will be mostly just drawing errors and finding out where some of these gaps were because of the way that they were drawn before with paper and microstation, which is where parcels are a never ending game.
Lot.
Yeah, they shouldn't get ag exemption on that.
No, not.
Probably
it just
not that
looked
one.
bigger.
Right.
But when you're talking some of those in Swan Valley, they've got more than 5 acres.
Yeah, and so most of the time they tax the home on 1 acre and then do ag up for 9 acres is how they do those. That's what I was thinking.
That's because they'll have horses or something else on it usually.
Okay, thanks, Trish.
Okay, thank you. And then if you'll email that to me, Austin, I'll look on the other one as well. And we'll do research at where, why it's a no number or what we can find for ownership back. It could be, some of them could be going back 10 to 100 years. So,
I'll send that to you, so.
okay, thanks.
May not be a lot of money to you rich dry farmers, but to me.
Yeah, I'll trade you acre for acre.
Good thing I wore
No,
my
but I
Keller
mean, you're
boots today.
talking,
You're right.
it
It
seems
would,
like about,
Socks are
I
staying
can't
clean.
remember the rural subdivision, you know, about $1 a square foot. So a piece that long, and that's a fairly large piece. It'd be, what, 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
That one is actually more than that.
Is it?
That one is about, I think it's close to 18 feet wide and over 120 feet deep. So this one is fairly large.
Okay, so how big is that? Square feet? 9,000. So see, that's probably a $10,000 parcel there.
And you're guessing it belongs to one of those property owners?
It could, but so if you zoom in a little bit, the Hales have actually been utilizing it. And they've got planter boxes and stuff out there because it looks more like it belongs to that
Yeah,
lot than the
it does.
others. But it's still an unknown
I'm
right
pretty
now.
sure when the Taylors bought theirs, because this was all one piece, that there's a survey out there, so that should show us whether or not that should be there or not. It's probably
Yeah.
what Trish.
Well,
will
the
look
Taylors
at.
bought that from the Papases, didn't they?
Mhm. Yeah, the Paps has owned everything.
Yeah.
The Paps has sold off just this back portion to the Taylors, and they had to survey that. I helped them do all of that.
Yeah, it was just because it goes actually beyond
Yeah.
where the Papases own.
That's why Amy's concerned. She's got a relationship with the Pappas, and that's why she was upset that they were gonna lose so much value in their property. Yeah.
Encourage her to ask before she shoots.
She was
Just gonna let
nice.
Lance
She
call her.
didn't come with her knife out. She
No.
was smiling.
Oh, yeah, but
I'm sure JV has her number, but do you have her number you can share with me too?
I think I do. Her smiling is a
Yeah, she was
kind of a disguised dagger usually.
she was a little wound up about it, I thought.
We had some
She's a man.
heated moments. I know her pretty well, and even when we were working on this stuff, we had some pretty heated discussions. She just. It's a little wound up sometimes, but it's okay.
So you'll get hold of Brad then on that other
Yeah, I'll
piece. Just tell him we're trying to help you avoid a problem in the future. Tell him we had a tax deed sale of a 3-foot strip in the middle of a commercial parking lot. That somebody can come in and buy on an auction. And then the city, if they don't have in their development agreement, an agreement for that utility box on the plat. And I mean, the thing to tell him, we recognize this is an older plat and everybody's changed ways of doing things. But here's a chance now, we're aware of it. Do you want the city or the county to quit claim that strip of a right of way? Or it's all in the city.
And just for your information, John, and I might be wrong, but the city is not gonna get Great Western Canal Company to allow them to do bike paths out there. And as a landowner that has a lot of Great Western Canal going through my property, I wouldn't want them to. That's because I own the property.
Great Western's not one she's even talked about.
Yeah,
They did talk about 26 West all the way up to County Line Road and coming down 5th West.
Yeah.
That is on the Connecting Our Communities plan.
I
Yeah.
thought the one that you were talking about was the one that is.
Not gonna happen.
Let's see here.
Which is what I tried to tell them, is like, I hate seeing this on a map when you're talking about a pipe dream here.
that's what caused so much
Yeah.
anger out there with my
Yeah.
group, yeah. And why put things like that on that map?
Well, we're
Well,
talking
'cause
about
somebody-
general issues. in the
Somebody makes
future.
their money by
That's
coming
what
up
we
with
need to
the
talk about.
Yeah.
painting
Just
of the
imagine
perfect
that.
world through.
Yeah.
They go make these plans.
Rose-colored lenses.
Yeah.
With that, and they just plop it out there on a map.
I thought you were talking about this one.
What's
The
that?
city, this is right by Timberline Estates, so this is where they did the
Power line.
Rocky Mountain power line that goes all the way down to the river.
Right.
And there's been tons of conversations about doing a path all the way along that, clear down to the river that ties into an eventual green belt.
What's the path you're talking about, John? Out down this part, did they show?
No, I don't know. I just know logically from talking with them about what they'd like to do with bike paths and connecting everything that connecting those neighborhoods to the soccer fields,
Yeah, they want to.
that, you know, that's one of the bike path places that,
Well, Joe Grover, bless his heart, when he was in the city council, was trying to put a path together from the city to Taylor Mountain.
Really?
Yeah.
all the way to Taylor Mountain.
All the way to Taylor Mountain.
So they've been doing this for a long time.
They get Lou Miniver buy-in on that?
Did they what?
Get Lou Miniver to buy in on
No.
that?
So we just got an annexation notice from the city of Idaho Falls that they annexed this in gray.
Annexed.
Yeah,
Past
but they
tense.
did not take 33rd North, which is Nurses Row, if you know where all that is.
So they've already done it. Did we give any input on it?
I gave input on it. I said, if you annex, you should annex all of 33rd North, because 33rd North is not a developed good roadway, and they didn't do it.
But they're gonna have to get an access permit.
Well, they
Well,
may
they
have to
can-
get an access.
Yeah, because they, well, they could put it on the 33rd where they've already annexed it. And they could put it on the, what's the northwest one?
Dave Kingston.
So they just annexed a bunch out.
Where's that? It's over by the river? By the-
There's Dave Johnson's house, somewhere in the yellow at the bottom. There's the one we had.
This is INL.
And wouldn't you know that most of that stuff they annexed there, they're annexed as initial zoning as residential?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
This is all residential.
This was
And
all
this
going
guy-
on.
This guy tried to
They
come in
sent
with a
out the
preliminary
notices
plat
for
a
these
while
when we
ago.
were doing Johnson stuff. But
See, this is where it's gonna be hard not to have conflict in the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
When we get to issues like this and the inconsistency.
I don't expect Kumbaya to extend beyond that first meeting.
Well, at some
I'm
point,
just worried about.
you know, the lawsuit needs to be discussed so the council can understand, and the best way to do that is to take their request for reconsideration and just go through it item by item, because it shows, okay, you're suing us over this, but this is your practice. You know, and even like Weston's, and they did, that was part of our defense, is on the notice, you know, them being infected person. You know, and he was a little cryptic with it, because he said, you know, does the city really think that they're gonna be able to send these decisions out to everyone that they think would be affected by this? You know, it's unrealistic.
So that's in the flight path? That's.
It's underneath part of the flight path, yeah.
it's not.
Well,
all
the
flight
runways-
path, But see,
the
originally.
runway-
There's the
that whole
runway.
area was
Yeah.
not supposed to be
That flight
residential,
path
but now it's all
goes-
changed.
Yeah, the cone
The
goes
trap
upward and
away.
outward.
Because this is all the innovation district area, and they've got these community centers.
Can't tell where
they
your
have
finger
plans
is.
To do
Can he borrow
know,
your
the-
pointer?
stores on the bottom, apartments up above.
I can't tell. You're pointing at the
Well,
screen you're
just
looking
this
at.
whole area. So this whole area right here is all the innovation district,
Where's Dave's property?
Right there.
right there, and they have that as part of the innovation district still. But
Even
they
though
still don't have the
Austin's-
property.
Even though
I only
Austin's
told them
pumping
that
out.
about 3 times. Now we're done with those meetings, so it'll be interesting to see if it comes out on their plan.
Question on that. Is their plan a comprehensive plan?
No. So what they did in their new comprehensive plan, Imagine IF, is they have a page that
That's
Called
shows.
it a comprehensive plan.
Imagine IF, a comprehensive. plan.
Yes, that's what they're calling it.
That's what they are calling us.
Isn't there a requirement on our area impact agreement for them to at least work with the county on developing that? Did that ever happen?
Well, their argument will be that they had representation from planning staff, but
No. The requirement is that they work with the planning commission to develop a comprehensive plan. Otherwise, they're basically doing what they did years ago when they developed a
Doing their
comprehensive
own and saying, here you go.
all the way down to Melaleuca County line, and then we read about it in the paper.
Yeah.
See, and they've done that process, except, Brad has offered. But then he didn't want you to appear on the input.
No,
You're just there for a couple while they explain what they've done. See, that's part of the process that needs to be cleaned up if they want to have a cooperative.
yeah, so in their comprehensive plan, which is an Imagine IF, they have a page that they talk about all these other documents that are being developed that support the plan. And one of those is the innovation district. So they've referenced those in the plan as to part of Idaho Falls greater plan, but they just referenced what they are as basically resource information. So in a way,
Kinda
they're
like-
constantly expanding.
Kind of like we got sued for them when they referenced the FAA plan
Mhm.
and we referred to it. And they said that was ex parte.
But it's not, because they've referenced it,
I know.
and they'll have the exact same problem with their comprehensive plan. I sent you the stuff from
Right.
the meeting with the council,
That
or the
even,
P and Z member.
even their P and Z members are very critical of this. It was
Yeah.
staff driven. But that's one of the uncomfortable things that we need to visit with the council on, the whole council.
So I've been watching the new annexation notices too. I have some on my desk right now. I need to look at it, but I think one of them, they're not annexing the road.
Well, this one's gonna be a problem with them with our new access thing.
I gave them input before it ever happened. It's like, if you're gonna do this, you better annex to the road and you better make sure that 33rd North is actually developed as a road.
But their response is, well, we put that in the development agreement, like out on 65th South, but then it never shows up.
Then
in
it
the
never
development.
shows up, yeah.
Well, we'll do the kumbaya thing for a little while, but it's gonna get right back to,
Well, it has to eventually.
well, it has to get to where we're not doing, what was that, insanity, definition of insanity?
Yeah.
Doing the same thing over and over again.
Expecting different results.
Yeah. If they want to fix this, and I do think there's a couple of new members on the
I
city
do too.
council. If we can educate them along the way, of what the problem is, instead of having them fed one side of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to play hardball, like denying them access, because we couldn't get their cooperation any other way. We've used your example on 65th South or Park Taylor Road out there. Because they insist that we enforce their standards. And then when you did, they said, well, can't you have a little bit of flex? No, because you're going to beat us up if we go outside your standards any place.
Yeah.
So they annexed. So see, it's all Lance's fault.
Yeah.
Way to go, Lance.
No, but that's been long overdue,
You can log us out.